y'all, and welcome back to another episode of Catch That. I am Naturally Elise, and that's my brother.
JR.
And we are the R&B representatives, and we are back at ya. And we have brought back a good friend of the show that we are so happy to have here, and that is the good brother Vegas. Hey.
What's up, everybody? Happy to be here. I'm not going to tell y'all, but I'm going to tell you, I ripped my shirt, so I'm going to have to get another one.
Shoot, I need another one my damn self.
I was
got
like,
you,
oh,
bro.
I can't wear this no more. Oh, man. Okay.
All right, we're gonna get you together. We got some new stuff coming too, so it's
hmm
good teams around
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
But yes, Vegas. How about you just give a quick introduction to the folks watching, and then we'll jump right into things.
All right. Well, I am originally from Brooklyn, New York. You know what I'm saying? I am a broadcast and digital media professional. Uh, Currently working on podcasts and producing some shows for radio and things like that. I'm a lifelong music fan, beginning with soul music. Hip hop was there early too, but in my household, my mother played nothing but soul music, so I was kind of raised off of it. And as much as I'm a big hip hop fan, I'm just as much as a big fan of R&B. I check y'all out all the time because half the time I don't even know what's out, or I need a reason to go back and listen to some, that I ain't listened to for a while. So it's
Yeah.
good to have these conversations away from, the hostile environment of hip hop and sports. So glad to be here.
Yeah, y'all be wild out about y'all
Right.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah. So Jr., how about you tell excuse me, tell folks what we're gonna be talking about today and why you think it's important.
All right. Okay, so today we will be discussing Dru Hill's debut, self-titled Dru Hill. Um, I can't wait to talk about this album because this is one of the albums that was on my list. Because when me and Elise started the show, we was like, she was like, write down 10 albums that you would want to discuss, and the debut was one of them. And mind you, we did this back in 2021, and ain't nobody picking. So, so when Elise was like, "Yo, Vegas picked an album," and I was like, "Oh, for real?" Because he came and he talked about Neo's in my own words. And I was like, oh, what did he talk? What did he pick? And I was like, he picked Dru Hill debut. So I was like, we could talk about it. It's very, it's an impact for me because of, we're gonna get into that. But I can't wait to talk about this. This album is great. I don't think there's not a song I don't like. I don't know about any one of y'all, but it's a song that I don't like. So I know when we get into all of the songs, it's gonna be great and all that good stuff. But Vegas, y'all know how we do. How did you even get in contact and how did you get introduced to Dru Hill?
The good old radio. So I was working in well, not working because this came out in 96. So back then, I was living and going to school in Bmore, and they had a station called 92Q out there, and I remember hearing Tell Me for the first time, and it felt like Jodeci almost. And not necessarily just Cisco, but just I got the Jodeci vibe from it a little bit. And I was like, well, is this new? Like I wasn't sure at the time. But the more I listened, I was like, nah, this is somebody else. And back then it was a coin toss on whether the host would backsell the song and tell you exactly who that was. So you
Yep.
kind of sitting there like, and like, who was that? But the song started to pick up in rotation and stuff like that. And then I learned that they were from Baltimore. And then I learned who they really were because I actually saw them down at the Fudgery. I think that's what it was called, at the harbor,
Mm-hmm.
when they used to sing. Because I remember when I first came to Morgan and I went to the harbor and I was like, who the hell is singing like that? Because, you're in there to shop. Like, and you just hear, you're like, the dude's over there with the chocolate singing like that. Like,
Right.
and me and the homie we were there for a minute because we was fascinated by, the fact that this organization would even do that because I thought it was creative, but the fact that damn, these brothers could sing, never thought twice that these were the guys on Tell Me. And I remember liking the song, and then Sleeping in My Bed came out, and I was like, all right, that's two. Like, am I gonna wait one more before I buy the album, or what? And I eventually bought it. And I just think what I liked about them the most was they just sound good. Like, just singing wise. Like, I would think about the music kind of as a second thing. Like, okay, the music is cool, but damn, these brothers could sing. So for me, it was just off the strength of just loving music, loving soul music. And this was something new and fresh in '96 that, I was just happy to be there for it. So
Mhm. So I was introduced to them, obviously by Tell Me, but I was introduced to them by the Eddie soundtrack, and it was on the Eddie soundtrack.
Oh, is that the
So
Whoopi Goldberg?
yes, because it's New York Knicks. Hello. And so so I remember hearing it, but I didn't pay it no mind. I was just like, oh, okay, whatever. You know what I'm saying? It was in the movie, cool, whatever. And then I remember seeing the video. And when I saw the video, I was like, wait a minute, wait a minute. I know it. I heard this song before. But even before then, I just saw them hopping like a mug. As soon as that beat come on, you boom, you see them,
right,
they hopping like what? So
right,
I'm
right.
like, yo, what the hell? And then I was like, yo, this song is dope for real. But I'm like, yo, they giving the dramatics and all that. And I was like, I was like, it's giving me Jodeci-ish, but then I'm also getting Boys the Men too. I was getting both. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, I like this. I like this. And then I had Eddie on VHS.
Oh,
So when I went and watched it, I said, oh, this is where I know them from. I know them from the Eddie movie. So then after that, I was like, yo, okay. And then, for me, this album is kind of important to me because this is when I came back home. I came back up north. So I was in South Carolina for 5 years with mom. So we came back in 96. So in 96, I'm like, this is the time where a lot of music is out. And I was like, all right, well, I used to go to 42nd Street and get the 3 for 10, get the 3 for 10 on
right.
bootleg. And I remember I got the 3 albums that I got. I had got Eric Benet, True to Myself. I
Mm.
got Mid Condition, with the definition of a band. And I was like, let me get Dru Hill. And I was like, I got that on the strength of Tell Me. And I think Hot 97 might have played in my bed. They might have, but I didn't hear it that often. But I was like, what I heard, I was like, cool. So I was like, when I got them 3, I was like, I think I'm going to play Mid Condition the most out of them. And when I put this joint in, yeah, Dru Hill got more play than all of that. Like, you know what I'm saying? And to think now, me living in Baltimore, because I was like, man, these some Baltimore dudes. Like, I'm looking at them like, man, I ain't. This is how they look. Like, this is how Baltimore dudes look. Like, I'm going in on them, and then now, 25 years later, I'm living out here. So it's just crazy how this works. But this album was everything to me. So it kind of reminds me of going back home and coming back up north and getting back into this music that I love so much. So that's why this album is very, very important to me, because it's like, I'm back home, and this was an album that I played on my CD player every day. And it was like, my mom was like, all right, can we get another one, please? Because I'm about tired of you playing this joint. But she was like you said, they sounded good. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So she didn't mind, you know what I mean? So this album, that's how I really got introduced to them, for real, for real.
Yes. So, I'm like Vegas. I just heard him on the radio. Um, Year it came out, I'd have been a senior in high school. It just was a song everybody went up for. I think the big thing was the video with them doing the hop. That was just a thing. And we doing it in the hallway, like that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they played it to death on the radio, played it to death on videos. But it was one of those play to death songs that I didn't get sick of, like to this day.
Mm-hmm.
but it definitely was like it was out there. Like people definitely heard it. So I just liked them from song. They were a guy group that could really, really sing. They had the harmonies were not only great, their harmonies were interesting how they inserted harmonies in their different songs, whether it was up tempo or slow songs.
Yeah.
And their harmonies made the slow songs not be boring. Because I think every single song on this album had the potential to be boring, but they would do something, and then you're like, oh, they did that, and then they come like a minute later and they do another thing, and it makes these
Yeah.
very,
Right.
very slow, very sentimental songs very interesting. So yeah, they had me at hello. Um and then I love a bonkers nuts ass lead singer. I mean, I love a Wanye, I love a KC, so I was in there. Like just the overly dramatic, just doing too much. I'm into it because with Cisco, he's all crazy, but he has control. He has amazing control. So it just made it interesting. So I was day one, Dru Hill, like stuck with them through to today. I love them. So
That's true. Like you said, Cisco has control for real. And
for
that's why
real.
you needed Jazz and Woody to kind of piece it together, and then
Right.
also Nokia coming in with them harmonies as well, adding that fourth harmony to it. You know what I mean? Because if you just had Cisco, that's what I like about this album too, because you have Jazz leading some records, you got Woody leading some records, you got
Hmm.
Cisco leading some records. Obviously, everybody's paying attention to him because Cisco is very dramatic. But
Right.
you need that in a group. You do. You need that. You know what I'm saying? That's what made them I might get some flack for this, but this is what made them a little better than 112, to be honest, because them two came out at the same time. And to
Mm.
me, I think what Bad Boy did was let's try to use not Q, Slim's unique voice. You know what I'm saying? That was the focus. Like, let's use his unique voice because they did the same thing with Total. You know what I'm saying? They let, what's her name, Pam, they let her voice was unique. Let's focus on that so you will pay attention to it. At least with these guys, it's like they remind me of like Commission for real, as far as harmonies and gospel and all that. So it was like like Vegas said, you focus on them singing, before the music. You like, these guys can really sing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
this album, you really got to see all of that, and everybody got to shine, and that's what I like too. So, oh God, yeah, I'm so ready to talk about this album. I'm sorry.
And,
Okay.
and, and before we jump into it, I'm glad someone finally. I'm surprised that no one has picked a Dru Hill, not even a song.
Nope,
Really?
nope,
I'm
they
I'm
have not.
I'm very surprised. Maybe people don't. Sometimes when people come to pick stuff on here, they be thinking about what we think of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that.
No.
It's about what you like, what is important to you. And they try to figure us out like, well, I feel like they like this and this, but they probably you'd be surprised of the
Right.
things that we individually and collectively really love. You'd be
Mm-hmm.
surprised. So people that
Mm-hmm.
come on the show, don't pick it thinking about us. Just pick something that means something to you. Like really, don't what my little opinion, it it don't matter as much as you think it mattered to me. It
That
don't.
part. Yes, I agree. I agree. Thank you for saying that. Because I be want thank you. I be wanting to say that all the time because people be so scared to come on because they like, well, what they gonna think of the song I picked. If you like it, it's fine. That's why I was like shocked that nobody picked the Dru Hill record. I'm like, not even a song? Like,
I was shocked because I assumed, well, somebody had to do this. Like, I mean, had
yeah.
to.
Like, I'm like, and they don't have they don't have any bad songs. If we stick to the first two albums.
That's kind of where I stopped. So
uh,
I haven't heard the other two albums.
it's Dru Dependence Day, and then the one when Cisco came back, the Dru World Order, when they had
Oh,
5 members. Now you know they got 18 now.
Don't do them. Don't do it.
I know. I just had to get one in. I had to get one in.
I know.
I
I
did.
know. I don't care.
I had to get
I
one
don't
in.
care.
But you know that was coming, sis. Come on.
Wait, you mean it's
Oh
like
God.
18 dudes doing that hop on stage now? Like,
Yes. Did you? They came to what is it? Afram, and it was them, and it was like 6 of them on stage because you know it's player, and
oh
then
yeah.
it's Jazz, Cisco, Nokia. That's when they were still there. They had the other guy. His name is I forgot what his name was. So you had 6, 7 dudes doing that, and it was like we rocking with the hop, but it's weird. Like it's like it was
Right.
only 4. Now we looking at 8 dudes going in the air like this. Like,
And Gerald, you ain't low. You see how he changed the number every time he said it, right? You noticed that, Vegas, right?
Right.
Okay.
18, 6.
I
Okay.
went from 18 to
Right.
Okay.
7 to 8.
I just want to make sure it's not just me that hear the mess. Okay.
Oh
Okay.
no,
Right.
no, no, of course not. Of course not. Oh God, let me stop. Let's get into this album. All right. So we open up with the anthem.
That's what else?
They got me on hello with this because first of all they using one of my favorite LL records, which is Eat 'em Up L Chill. You know what I'm saying? So that's me and my dad love that record. So when I was like, oh, they using that, I was like, but they saying Dru Hill, like okay,
Right.
all right, like how they how they flipped that, and then they using the Stay Real with Eric Sermon. So you got so again, this is a time where really hip hop is really going into R&B right now. You know what I'm saying? This is another transition year. So for them to start it off like this, it was like, all right, all right. Like Vegas, you a hip hop head, so I know for you to hear this, it was like, oh, okay, all right.
I ain't like it, man. I ain't like it.
What you did?
I'm like, yo, don't let the greens touch my yams. Like move over. Hey, what album I buy? Like what
Yeah,
but I
who
get
you
it.
sound like? I
you,
agree.
Right.
you. That's
Right.
why I just saw when I said it had me at hello, you was like, I was like,
Right.
oh, okay, so at least they digging it. So I thought Vegas would, but I thought that would connect the hip hop heads to it, especially with the transitions of '96. But you was like, I ain't dig it.
Well, yeah, you know what it was? Because I loved it with Mary, right? Like, so
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of
Yeah.
like being a hypocrite, but I think especially probably I guess early to mid 90s,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't always like the marriage between hip hop and R&B unless it was done in a certain way, or it was a remix or something like that. Then I kind of got
Right,
into it.
right.
But at first I thought it was weird because of what I was like, why I bought the album. I'm like, yo, these dudes could sing. So it kind of threw me off to hear that. But then I realized, like, well, I mean, like you said, hip hop is kind of blending with R&B in some ways, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes they're looking for a reason to put something hip hop on there because there's no rappers on here. You know what I'm saying? Unlike the second album, at least I don't think so.
It's just one. It's what's her name? I forgot what the girl name. She's on Whatever You Want. She did a little rap, a little quick, like 8 bars, I think.
Damn, I don't remember that. Um, that's not good. But I did remember it on the because I think they had Redman and Method Man on the second album.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, I mean, it was cool when I heard it, but I kind of looked like, well, this a lot of R&B albums have kind of done something like this, whether it's a interlude or even if it's the artist rapping themselves. So I
Uh,
figured there was a long way to go, so I can't judge it on no intro.
got you. I got you. I got you. I thought it would, but I was like, all right, I'm in there. I'm in
Right,
there. You know
right.
what I'm saying? So then we
Yeah.
get
And
to
I don't even count that as a song or anything.
no,
So,
no, no.
because if I did, then it'd be 2 songs I don't like on this album, but it's just one.
Oh
So
God, I
good.
can't wait to see what song you what? Okay. 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 So we get nothing to prove.
Mhm.
I, when I heard the Gwen McCrae sample, it keeps on raining from her was it her debut? Yes, in '74. When I heard that, I was like, oh, they using this. I was like, come on. Then Tim Dog did this. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Down with the Uptown Crew, so he did this beat. So I was like, okay. And like I said, what I like is Jazz started this off. Cause Jazz, he gives me like Fred Hammond voice to me. Again, I'm saying they remind you of Commission. Commission got a lot of kids in this industry for real, for real. Like as far as harmonies and shit, like Commission deserves they flowers for real. Cause a lot of these groups really was inspired by them, as far as harmonies and all of that. So when I heard that, I was like, they killed. And I was like, all right, I'm in. I was already in from the first one. I like these two, but I was in with nothing to prove, and I was like, I like how they use the sample and all that. So I thought this was great. I thought let's get this album started. So I enjoyed this one.
I gotta say, you already know what's about to happen, but I
Uh-oh.
wasn't really into it. Only because
Mm-hmm.
my expectations was like I was ready to sing. You know what I'm saying? And ballads are what kind of what I was introduced to with this bands and what I with this group. And one of the things that a lot of R&B albums that I like that I kind of despised back when hip hop started blending was they or not even hip hop. Let me just say upbeat records, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
I always felt like groups that could really sing like that. Maybe not way back in the days, but they didn't always make good dance records. In a lot of ways, I think Dru Hill probably nailed that the second go round when because they had a lot of stuff back then. Um, uh, and on some soundtrack, I can't remember the movie now, How to Be a Player or whatever, but it was cool, but it still felt like an extension of all right, we're getting ready, maybe the party ain't kicking off yet. Maybe the DJ trying a couple of things. I'm getting a couple of drinks in me before we get there. And we get there.
Yeah.
But between the intro and that song, I was like, okay, it felt formulaic for a lot of
Ah.
R&B records around
Okay.
that time. So I guess that's
Okay.
why I was kind of like, come on, get to it. But they do. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, how I feel about this song, it's not like it's not a standout song for me, but I like it, and it's just got a nice little sway to it. Um, I probably don't really love the song for like the first minute, but after there, the song finds its way for me, so I like it. But it's not I won't go so far to call it filler, but it's closer to filler than it is like a that's my joint song.
right.
But
Got you.
I think it's a quality song, but I think everything after this song is like stellar to me for the most
Mm-hmm.
part. It's okay. It's okay. They didn't lose me. They didn't lose me. But it's not a standout song. It doesn't feel like a first song. It feels like it should be like the sixth or seventh song when you get to that.
Mm,
Okay. Okay. I
It
I
feel
can I
like
can see
tell
that.
it should have went from the intro to tell me to me, honestly.
yeah.
It should have.
That should have been the first song on that record. I mean, you could have left it in for wrong, but if you insisted on having the intro, Tell Me should have led that album. It would have made sense. Because Tell Me was like the perfect medium between their up tempo and their ballads. That was like the happy medium to me.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's
Yeah.
more of a
Yeah.
groove.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
agree. I
Even the
agree.
way Tell Me starts, it has a little build before it gets into
Yep.
it. So which can serve as a segue from that intro, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That was
Yeah.
smart. That's true. That's
Right?
true. Okay, it could have went right. Now think about it, sis. You right. Like, even though I rock with nothing to prove, but it could have went right from the intro to Tell Me. Cause it, like you said, which is the third song, which at the end of the day, it does have a build. And that's what I like about this record. Like it's a build. So everybody like now, like when you play this joint in the club for real, like everybody hears that build up and everybody is waiting for that beat to drop.
Right.
And when it drops, you see everybody up in the air, like you know what I'm saying. So it's like boom, and you just go in, and then I just love how jazz just come in so smooth, yo. Like anything is possible. Like he's smooth, yo. Like just mad smooth. And I anytime he sing, I'd be like, go Freddie Jr. for real, for real. I'll just be like,
Yeah.
go
Yeah.
ahead, Freddie Jr. Sing, just sing. And then I like when they call each other names out. The
Mm-hmm.
who's gonna sing next? Because then
Right.
Jazz goes Cisco, and then Cisco like he comes in with that power that he has. You know what I'm saying? And it just goes from there. So yeah, this song is a staple for real for them, and I think I'm glad that it was their first single. I'm so glad it was their first single for real.
Uh-huh. Yes. So, second song on the album. I mean, the third. I don't
Oh,
know.
you know what? I forgot to talk about this joint too, because I forgot to say this. Stanley Brown was the one that wrote this record, and he did "I'm Dreaming" for Christopher Williams.
Mm.
So when you listen to this, it has like an airy production, like "I'm Dreaming." If you listen to it, it's very airy for real. It has an air to it, and when you hear it, you like, okay. And then obviously Stanley did some more in this album, so you can hear his sound in there. You know what I mean? So yeah, I just wanted to give Stanley Brown his shout out for real, because he bodied this joint for real.
Mhm. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Where we at? Because you went for nothing to prove, and then you talk about tell me, and now I'm confused. What we doing?
Oh, so yeah, we did track number 4. We at 4 now.
Okay. My
Yeah, we
bad.
at 4. Do you believe?
Okay. No, I just want to be right. I'm good now. I'm good.
Okay, good. Um, Cisco came in wailing off the break. He did some shocker wailing on this record, like off the break. You like, oh, okay. So I guess Cisco's gonna be the lead on this one. You know what I'm saying? And he started it off, and then he said, "Woody, would you help me sing?" Like I like when they do that. Like Dru, that was what they did. Like you knew who was gonna sing next. You know what I mean? So
Right.
I thought this was dope, and they used the Craig Mack sample. I'm y'all know I'm here when I'm hearing samples for real. So they
Right.
used the Craig Mack joint. Move. What is it? Making moves with Puff off his
Yeah. Off his.
Flavor in Your Air joint. And again, this is an example of this is '96 transition when hip hop is really starting to become mainstream. Because by '97, it's a rap. You know what I'm saying? It's like hip hop has completely taken over. It's commercially accepted now, all of that. But this is when that, and I guess Def Jam was like, okay, this is an R&B album, but we're a hip hop label. So at the end of the day, we got to fuel the two. You know what I'm saying? So for them to do that, I thought, this song just had edge to it. I thought this song really, really had an edge. So, I rock with it. I don't think it's bad. I like it.
I don't like the first verse.
So you going in on Woody?
No, I just don't. However he was singing on that day, it's a whiny thing to it. But then it's another song. It took a second to get in the groove of the song, and then once I was in it, I was in it. But that first verse, yeah, I didn't like it. I ain't like the way he sang it.
I'm not a thing.
Sound like a mosquito.
Not a mosquito.
Well, I'm being honest. It did.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. Do You Believe? Great song, but like Elise saying that she doesn't like the beginning of the record, but I guess it eases on after a while. Because I think you said that. I think y'all both said that about Elise said that about Nothing to Prove. She was like,
Yeah.
after a while, okay, it goes somewhere. And I guess with Do You Believe It, I guess it did that. So you know what I mean? So But again, there's not a song that I don't like. So y'all gonna hear me saying this joint is good, and maybe because I'm biased, maybe don't know, but
Well, okay. Everybody in the whole world is always biased at every time. It's just it's called humanity. So there's bias about what stuff means to you,
yeah,
but also to like a song doesn't mean there aren't parts that like at you. It's about liking the whole thing. Just like I can love an album and not like a few songs on it. That doesn't invalidate the album.
facts.
So
Girl, you know how to
so
put stuff together. I know that's right. Oh God.
yeah.
All
So
righty.
we come into whatever you want. I
Now
love I- they
they did their big one. This is the Jodeci record to me. This sounds like a Jodeci record to me. I got D'Angelo and Jodeci on this.
Mm.
it, it sounds like a song that Jodeci never made that they should have made.
That part.
Oh, damn.
That's where I was going. That's exactly what I was going.
It's
This
it's
is
it's
Get On Up Part 2.
it's a specific spot that Jodeci never could hit for me for their up tempos. And if it was something that sounded like this, it would have been so perfect to me.
Mm-hmm.
Um for them.
Yep. Yep. I agree.
Yeah, I agree. I like this record. I think this is more what I wanted from a up tempo record from them. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? It kind of was like, okay, this is cool. I didn't see it coming, even though I was enamored by, all the ballads, as we'll get to some of them. But
Mm-hmm.
when I heard this, I was like, all right, this is more like it compared to, what I felt about the early records. So yeah, I agree.
Like for me, like I said, it like I felt like on the keys, I felt like it felt like D'Angelo to me. It felt like something brown sugar-ish to me,
Mm,
especially as far as production. And then it felt like I said, it felt like a Jodeci Get On Up. Like Elise said, this is a song that they should have made that they never did, and they could never make it. You know what I'm saying? That's why I like when we talk about Jodeci's up tempos, we always be like, oh, Lord,
yeah,
damn. Like they
pretty
could
much.
never get the up tempo right. So when we got Get On Up, it was like, oh, okay, they can give us but that's still a groove, but it's the most up tempo that we were gonna get. And I was like, whatever you want, I was like, this is a record that Jodeci could have had.
Hmm.
You, do you know what kind of song this sound like? And it's very ironic.
Yeah.
Is it sound like a player song to me. It sound like how a player song, and for them to all be together now,
I was
it's
just
so
about to say
funny.
That's crazy.
I was just about to say that. Yeah.
It's that song could be on Cheers
Cheers
to You.
to you. Yeah. Yeah.
It would fit in with that. I love the production um of it. It's understated, but it's complex at the same time, but it doesn't overpower them. I love the production on it. And I remember
Mm-hmm.
first hearing it way back then for the first time, and I was kind of like, I don't know about this production. Then when I heard the whole song, I was like, that was just right. That was perfect for that song. It gave
Mm-hmm.
it. The song feels bright, you
Yeah.
know. So it makes it's a song that makes me feel good.
Mm-hmm. And that's what Stanley Brown doing it. It kind of gives you a good feeling like Tell Me did. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying?
Hmm.
Like when I guess he knew what they needed. You know what I'm saying? As far as grooves, because he killed it with Tell Me for real. And then you come around and get whatever you want. It was in the pocket. It's what they needed. You know what I'm saying? As that. So Stanley gets a lot of credit for
Yeah,
giving them what
it,
they needed.
yeah. It's not my favorite song on the album, but it
Oh,
almost is.
Hmm.
oh
It's about two or three. Seriously. I just it just
wow.
that song just feels good. It feels good. I like it
Yeah.
gives me a good feeling. It's a song that I run quite a bit to this day. I really like it.
You definitely want to just sing it, like you said, like
Right.
It just
Like
kind of
I
It's
was
catchy.
jamming to it on my way home from Virginia this morning, and when that joint came on, you just be like, whatever you want. Like it's like you want to groove to it, and mind you, it's like 4 in the morning. I'm tired as a motherfucker. But
Right.
again, it got me wanting to whatever you need. Like I'm sitting there in it, you know what I mean? And then so like you said, sis, it makes you it gives you that boost of energy because it is a happy record to sing along to. So I think
I,
it's
I
dope.
wonder if, because at least you said Tell Me was released in August. I
yes.
wonder if this record was ever considered for a single because it's a perfect summertime, nice weather, in the whip, driving home, kind of, you know what I'm saying? It's a groove. So I wonder if they ever thought like, should it be Tell Me? Should it be this Whatever You Want record? Because it sounds
I
like a single.
I saw
Mhm.
some people on YouTube maybe a couple of months ago when I was listening to the album at work. And I saw a lot of people was like, why couldn't this be a single? Like you
Mm,
saw so many people in the comment section like, yo, why couldn't this be a single? Hell, they could have. I wonder now that you got me. Now my research is gonna come on after we finish this episode.
right.
And I'm gonna be like, yo, did they really did you have Tell Me or whatever you want as which single to go with? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think Nokia was on the Oatmeal Club and I think when they came out with that Christmas album they did. And he said when they went in to Sony and Tell Me was already done. And they told them like, okay, if y'all can get this hook, this song will be out in 30 days. So maybe the album wasn't done yet because I'm trying to think. Because it's like he was saying that, yeah, then the song got put out and then they had to go with it. So I'm like, and the album came out in November, right, sis?
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Yes.
came out in November. So did they do this record in like 3 weeks? You know what I'm saying? Just to catch up the single? Like that's so now you got me thinking, they like maybe that whatever you want might have been, it might have not been. I'm not sure. So I got research to do. Yeah, thanks, babe.
Right.
I love
And,
this.
and all the other Stanley Brown songs were singles, so it might have been considered. That would make sense. But it's
Yeah.
like, but the singles that this album gave us,
Yeah.
I'm sure it was a very hard choice because they were strong. All their singles were so strong.
And you know how I love how you said, sis, when there's certain albums, and there's an album that we talked about that you guys will never see, that the singles carried the album for real. If them singles wasn't strong, woo. So Dru Hill had strong singles, but they still had strong album cuts. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So it was like you said, it was hard for them to be like, well, where we gonna go with next? You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, you go from Tell Me, then the next song is In My Bed as a single, but we didn't get there yet. But it's like all them songs was dope. Like, so yeah, you're right. Like it's I know they sat there in the album meeting like, y'all, what we gonna do? And that's a good thing to have. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like
A
sometimes you
good
like, all
problem.
right, that's a single. You know that's a single. You know that's a single. It feels like one. But they got
Yeah.
songs on this joint that a lot of them could have been singles if it wanted to. So yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So before we get into the next song, I want to tell you something that I really, 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 really dislike about music, particularly R&B from the 1990s.
Uh-oh.
And that not just R&B either, from hip hop and R&B, hip hop and R&B in the 90s is all that fucking moaning and shit. So fucking intro, Jodeci, Jay, like I hate Biggie, I hate Pun, I hate that shit. I hate it. I hate it. Okay, now we can talk about it.
Because he
That
was satisfied. The moment
Satisfied.
was her being satisfied.
Okay. That doesn't change anything I said. And
Hold up, when
you
you
hear
say that,
I just named you my favorite people in music, and I
Yeah.
like it made me uncomfortable then, and it makes me even more uncomfortable now. I don't like it.
Because
But
I
that's
don't
me.
think it was needed. It wasn't needed. It wasn't.
Mm.
It wasn't. Even though
Now,
I see why they did it, but
And
are
that's
we
why this
talking
is the
about
song.
skits or like within the record, like "Come and Talk to Me" remix?
All that.
Because "Come and Talk to Me" remix was a little like over the top by the end. You just like,
Oh, all of those.
Come
Shit.
inside with intro.
Come inside with intro.
oh,
Jay, don't walk away at the end. They
Yeah.
interpolated the moaning into the fucking beat. Like the fuck. Jodeci, that whole fucking show at the party, the bullshit album, all of that. I hate it. It's so uncomfortable because you come to it and you're in the mood and it's just it don't so much bother me if I'm playing it by myself.
Uh-huh.
But if I'm around anyone, I get like an embarrassment, like a secondhand embarrassment from it. Especially if it's playing loud. Oh.
yeah, you know what it's like? It's like somebody's watching porn in public. You know what I'm saying? As far as
Right.
the embarrassment, because you sort of like, y'all hear that? Like, or it's just me, you know.
Mhm.
Like Erica,
I
damn.
skip
Y'all
it.
feel that?
I've been skipping it for years at this point because it's like you said, it's just unnecessary. I was listening to Ready to Die the other day, and I'm like, yeah, I don't want to hear that. I just want to get to the song. Like I get it.
And you got to, and mind you, like, you bring that up too, because mind you, when we got it, you not ready. I'm with my mom and dad in the car when they got it. So, of course, when that car, my mom was like, oh, no, wait a minute. Like, no,
Right.
he can't be hearing this. Like, what is going on? You know what I'm saying? So, I get it at least, because even with this, like I said, with Satisfy, I get why they did it, but it wasn't needed. You didn't need that at
Right.
all. Like, you didn't. Like, they just could have came in and Jazz could have hit that note and they could have just went there. You know what I'm saying? Instead of giving all of that. But again, just like you said with Jodeci, they're giving, to me, this is I'm still waiting homage, to be honest. And Cisco says my arms wide open. He gives KC the knock, and with again, I just don't think it was needed because I was listening to it today at work, and I was just like, y'all, for real. Like back then, mind you, I'm 10 years old when this album come out. So I'm like, like,
Right.
you know
Right.
what I'm saying? I'm a kid. So I'm like, ooh, I find it amusing because I'm like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm getting older and starting to know some shit. But I'm like, now I'm listening to it and I'm like, come on, y'all. Y'all didn't need to do this. Cause y'all got too many ballads that you know what I'm saying? Like you got these ballads that's about to come up that was no need. You didn't need that for Satisfied. You didn't.
That's my skip song. I just that's the
Okay.
one.
Okay.
Yeah. I was not
Okay.
satisfied with that.
Right.
And you talk
Look,
about John, I was you was a kid. I was a teenager, but I was still a kid, so it was uncomfortable to me.
Yeah.
right.
And
Yeah.
I knew it. I mean, it's different. I didn't know what they were talking about, but I still was a child. So.
I was just older than I was supposed to be anyway, being the only child. So I was around adults anyway. And it was just like, for me, like you said, when we talked about SWV's Downtown, and you were just like, ooh, like when you first heard it, it was like, ooh, okay, you know what I mean? Like,
Oh yeah.
so me, this is the age where I'm like, when my grandfather would play their records of them comedy, the comedy back then. And when I used to sneak and go listen to it when everybody was gone. So when I heard this, and my mom by now I had my, my Walkman and I had my headphones on. So mom is not really paying attention to the albums that I'm listening to. So when this comes on, it is weird because you kind of tell on yourself when you little anyway. So when I'm listening to it, it comes on, I'm like,
Right.
for the first like 40 seconds. So if my mom was paying attention, she like, he was just singing and why he looking like that? Maybe I need to listen to this album for real. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? So, but yeah, sis, you're right. You're right. Again, I rock with it except for that 40 seconds. Like, I'm like, nah, y'all didn't need it.
But then,
That
yeah,
jazz
and
is
then you put it at then the nights they would do shit like that at the beginning of the song. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's usually
intro, you gotta hear
that's
them
usually how it
talking and go
ends.
for fucking almost 2 minutes.
Right, man.
Oh,
That's an ending right there. That's how you
Right.
end a record. Like you don't start it like that. Like
I honestly forgot that was even there until I listened to it earlier today. And
yeah.
it's just one of those things, like I was saying about some of these earlier records, where there were certain tropes in R&B at that time that I was anticipating. And that
mm-hmm.
was another one, right? Like, oh, okay, well, we got to have this in there. And it's like, no, you don't. You really don't. I like the record. What, why do this? But I mean, at the end of the day, it was kind of cool because after this, I don't skip
It's
shit.
it, at all. There's no issue
Right,
at all.
right,
At all.
right,
Like from
right,
7 on in, it's like we have no problem.
right, right.
Yeah, because then we come into April showers, which bring May flowers like me. But
Go off.
like, you know what? I wasn't so bad to skip, which I always skip, satisfied because I'm coming to April motherfucking showers. And that,
Yeah.
whew,
Look, that's the song when you can't tell me I'm not in a damn group because I'm gonna sing this shit from beginning to end. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh,
oh
here
yeah.
come my song. Everybody be quiet.
Right,
I love
right.
this record.
Oh my
It's very
God, what
close
he
to
did.
being my favorite.
Oh, what he did, what he needed to do on this record. Like for real. I always feel like this might be a precursor to Beauty.
Mm.
Like it was like, okay, you can play this joint. If you put the joint on, your playlist that you need, and you throw Beauty right after it. Like I feel like this was just and Nokia produced this record. And I think that's why I think Nokia knew the sound of what Dru Hill needed. And that's why he knew, like, because basically a lot more other songs he did, it kind of gave you the April Showers flavor. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like Woody sounds so comfortable on it. It was like, I was like, Woody was like, I'm gonna show my ass. You know what I'm saying? Because again, you know how he said on the second album, he talked shit. Y'all don't really know me like that. Y'all don't know the cuts that I did. And he named them on the second album. That's when you kind of knew, oh shit. Like, that's when you
Over.
knew, like, uh-oh. You know what I mean? Like, this might be the beginning of the end. And it was. And you know what I'm saying? But April showers is that, like you said, Beck, after satisfied, that shit just goes up and it don't fucking stop. Like it's like they hitting you in your chest with it. Like, whoo, Lord have mercy. But yeah.
Ah, I, I, and that song is definitely an example of a song. If it was a group singing this song to where it was one of those groups where it's really just the lead singer that can sing and everybody else is just kind of okay, it actually would have been a very boring song. I mean, it had the potential of being a boring song, but because you have these dynamic voices and it's not just one voice
Right.
that's catching your attention, it it just adds another dimension, another flavor to the song.
Yep. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
I agree. That's exactly what I was thinking. I was thinking like this is what makes this group strong is the fact that you could have a record like that and what people would think Cisco being the lead singer is like, nah, Dru Hill was different. Like they like the X-Men. They got a lot of Avengers. They got a lot of weapons that they could use. And this was a flex because when I first heard, I only heard this when I got the album. And
Okay.
at first I was like, damn, who's singing? Like, I didn't know the members like that, except for obviously Cisco, he was up front.
Right.
Um, But yeah, when I tell you this one of them, it's perfect to me. Like I love the record. Straight perfect to me.
Yeah, perfect, no notes. And like Vegas said at the very beginning, it wasn't so much the music itself, it was them voices like that, like pulled them in. It was that pure talent. And then they were able to wrangle that pure talent together to make such a solid, just solid work. So yeah.
Yep. Yep. Woo. Oh, like y'all said, perfect. I don't even know where else to go.
Yeah, it is.
It's a perfect record. It's a perfect record. You know what I mean? So, oh God, this record, I'm about to go off, y'all. Uh, all alone, all alone. One of my favorites on the album because every last one of them sing on it and they shine on it. Like Woody starts it off. I'm gonna say to myself, like he starts it off, right? And then Jazz comes in. Then even Nokia comes in smooth. And then you know Cisco gonna come in with the dramatics when it comes to the hook. So
Right.
everybody gets a shine on this record. You know what I mean? And you know, I think if y'all watching this, please go and see them do this live. And I think it was on Planet Groove at the time. And they wearing pajamas and all that, right? So, like I said, Woody comes in, he's sitting on the stool, he's singing to the girl, right? You got Jazz, he's sitting on the stool singing to the girl. Nokio's in the bed, just, you know what I'm saying? He's laying back. Cisco singing upside down at the hook. I was like, dude, you ain't Diana Ross in 1980. What is you doing? Like, no, like, why are you singing? And he's so dramatic with it, and it's funny. And like, it's like he reminds me of just Eddie, because he's just and he's like, I got to be alone. Like and you can tell he's singing backwards. So he's trying to hit this note, and he finally had to breathe, like, oh, like, so I love it, y'all, because this is a time with Planet Groove, and when an album will come out, they will give them the whole hour. You know what I'm saying? Erica got it with Baduism. Rasan Patterson got it an hour for his album. Adriana Evans has got it. So they gave Dru Hill the whole hour, and they did All Alone. And to me, I like this because shout out to Kim Jordan because she did the piano on this and April Showers. She did a lot of stuff with what's his
Say
name?
the say the name
Gil
again. I
Scott
didn't hear
Heron.
you.
Uh,
Say the name again. I didn't hear you clearly.
oh, Kim Jordan. She
Okay.
did the keys on this, and she did the keys on April Shower too. And
Mhm.
she did a lot of work for Gil Scott Heron. And to me, this gives me like talking book production to me, like
Mhm.
a ballad that Stevie would do. It gave me something. It gave me like a Stevie production feel to it. You know what I'm saying? Especially with talking book with them songs that y'all we did an episode. Can't wait till y'all see it. But but when we with them songs that he did with when he was talking about what's the name Sarita, and he was talking about them songs being in love with her and being hurt and all of that. And I think Stevie would have did a song like this in like 96 to me. So I got Stevie feeling on this record, but this is one of my favorite songs on the album. One of my favorites. Love it.
Mhm. Yeah, yo, when this record came on, like after April Showers, when this record came on, like you said, to me, this was a flex because I was like, oh, they all gonna go in. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Now we getting to why I purchased this album. You know what I'm saying? Because I was anticipating
Yes.
so much that I was like, okay, I'm glad they're getting into, you know, really what's driving me to their music, which is their voices. And, again, not knowing everybody in the group, but just seeing how well they sang and how well they sang together. And again, like the music is almost literally to complement them, as opposed to, well, we need the music to be stronger. So it could be like, nah, the way they're singing already on here. And like you said, like the handoffs, because I mean, honestly, you brought it up earlier, but like just the dynamic and the way they work together, it just felt more like a group dynamic that singing in a damn chocolate store. You know what I'm saying? For years, as opposed to a put together group
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
trying to,
Yeah.
come together. So
And there's something about a group, if you've been through the trenches together, that hits different than, like you said, a manufactured group, or people that
right,
met each other later in life or sort of thing. Like it just kind of hit different. Or if they
mhm,
family, it hits different. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
right,
yeah.
Hmm.
That's why they harmonies was so connected. Cause like you said, they went through the trenches with each other. You know what I'm saying? Like they wasn't put together like a group, like
Well,
In
yeah,
Vogue. They
yeah.
were put together. So even though they sounded great, but it was just like you knew they wasn't like a Pointer Sisters or something. They are sisters. They was like the emotions. You could take one person out of the group and put another sister in, and they still sounded good. You know
mm,
what I'm saying? You didn't know. Oh, she wasn't there. Oh, the other sister was in. And with like Dru Hill, another thing that you brought up too, Veg, I like that all four of them sing.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like it comes to groups like again, you're focusing on the lead. And like with Jodeci, who did we focus on? Casey and JoJo. That's
right.
who we focused on. That was it.
No, we focus on KC.
Oh, well,
Well, no, see, that's I'm not being funny at all.
it's no dig. No, it's no
Right,
dig.
right,
No,
Mm,
it's not a dig. We
uh-uh.
focus on KC. Full stop. Now, yes, when they came out together, did the group, yes, and even then, I'm still focused on KC.
Right. Because he was dramatic of the group. He brought the character to the group.
right,
So he's the voice and then the character. Like you're gonna focus on him. You know what I'm saying? Like, but with Dru Hill, again, Cisco is dramatic, but you're still focusing on Jazz. You're focusing on Woody. You're focusing on Nokia. Everybody's getting shine. Even
right.
though Nokia was gonna get his shine in the video because he used to do some extra shit in the video. Like we'll get there.
Well, that's another imprint of their Jodeci influence, because the other ones you don't know, but you knew who they were visually because they would be extra in the
Right.
videos or
Right.
extra on interviews, that type of stuff. But
Yeah.
I mean just pure like vocally, like
Yeah.
you thought about all of the members of Dru Hill, even if
You
you
did.
didn't know the names, but you knew there were distinct different members.
Agreed.
Right.
Yeah.
Agreed. I agree with that. I agree with that. All alone. I'm sorry.
And really the only of that time, the only other group I could think of like that, even though I'm not a fan of this group per se, but everybody got a lead, and you knew distinctly the members, and that was Escape. Different people led different songs, and or one versus this person. A lot of the other groups weren't doing that. And then they might have did it second, third album after they got criticism.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Hello
Yeah.
DC. But once they started getting criticism, and then they started, but then it's like it's not ingrained in our of how we think of y'all. It's that,
Well said, sis. Well said. You're right. You're right. Because a lot of
and I never
groups
thought of
started
that
doing
to
it
this
on the second
moment.
album.
Yeah, I never thought about it to this moment with Vegas talking about it. Like that's the only group I could think of where it's different songs there. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's one where Tiny did that, and oh, that's one with Tasha, and that's
Right.
Candy. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because yeah, you're right. Damn. I had to think about that for a second because after the second album, a lot of them was like, all right, we're gonna add more leads to you, and we're gonna give more leads to you. And it changed, but again, it messed up the dynamic because we were so used to that. So
Right.
then you switch it, and it's like, well, wait a minute. We we caught on to that. What's going on with y'all changing everything? They didn't have to do that. You know what I mean? Dru Hill
yeah.
didn't have to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And then another thing that shows how great the collective was, because when you
Mhm.
go, JR, when you go listen to that Cisco solo album, the whole time you listen to it, you're like, he needs the guys.
Yep.
He needs the guys.
Yep.
Every song. You're like,
Yep.
this would have really hit if you had this harmony, or if you had
Yep.
if Jazz did the second verse, you know. So that's why his solo didn't work for me at all. Especially revisiting it, and it's worse than I ever remembered.
Oh.
So.
Mm. You know, it's funny because what you just said about Escape is almost like Cisco's solo was the reverse of that. Like with Escape, they kind of set our standards one way, but then they switched it up to let everybody get some shine. Whereas with Dru Hill, you know, we knew Cisco was the flamboyant out in front lead, so to speak. But if you had the album, you heard the singles, you realize no, it was more about the group. So that would be missing from just like Casey and JoJo. I'm like, these beats is like Disney soundtrack type joints when they did their joint away from Jodeci, because you was just so used to hearing those voices on those tracks that it was like, oh, y'all trying to Boys the Men now? Okay.
They really were. They really
Right.
were when they became Casey and JoJo. They became
Right.
Boys the Men, really. Because all my life ain't nothing but Boys the Men record, like for real.
Yeah.
Like that's it. And it really is. Like all of they hits at that, they became Boys the Men. But you're right, sis. I always say that. I always feel like a lot of our, groups feel like the lead singer can go solo, and it's like, oh, they gonna pop. No, no, no. That's when you realize you need the collective. You know what I'm saying? A lot of groups did that. Hell, my favorite group, SWV, when Coco went solo, as much as she could sing her ass off, she don't have character. So that's what Lily and Taj brought. You saw them on the side of her. She's singing for blood, and they giving you the harmonies needed, but they also adding something on stage. And to me, as much as Cisco, as dramatic as he was, it's like you needed somebody like Jazz to bring him in. Like we always talk about Gerald and Sean. When Gerald is all over the stage and rolling around and doing all of this, Sean is like, let me pull you back a second. So that's why you didn't mind seeing Levert together. So to me, when Cisco was on stage, it was like, all right, you flipping and you doing all that, but I want to see Nokia. I want to see Woody. I want to see Jazz. Like it's something missing. And like you said, Vague, songs like All Alone tell you why it was more about the group. You know what I'm saying? Rather than just Cisco is the front man. You know what I mean? It was all about all of them, their voices. So the music complemented their voices for real. So you needed all that. So good pick, y'all. Good, good, good. Come on, sis.
Oh, and one more thing about All Alone. When they hit about the 3-ish minute mark, it just, I don't even have a word for it exactly. It just really turns into something really, really special. Like
if I could sing it, I would, but I can't. So I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. Like when it gets to there, I just start really lipping. Like it's like, it just becomes something. Like you said, it's special. It's so special after that 3 minute point, 3 minute point for real. So you pulled my move because I always say I always give you the timestamp.
The influence.
Come on, you know how we influencing out here.
I'm just right. You give me influence. You're the Jodeci to my Dru Hill,
Oh, come on, somebody. I like how you did that. Oh, man. Okay. We go to the banger.
Another single.
Yes. Never make a promise. When I first heard this, I said, before I even looked at the line, I said, this feels very babyface Daryl Simmons-ish. I was like, it gives me, right. But Babyface not on this. It's just Daryl. It's just him. But I was like, this is Babyface Daryl. Oh, okay. And then when I saw it, I was like, it's Daryl for real. And the bridge of this song, Jazz got to that damn bridge and just sung. I'm glad they let him have this song. Like they let him have it. You know what I'm saying? Like they gave Woody April Showers,
Mm-hmm.
and Jazz had never made a promise. And just this song is just the shit. Like it just is. And then the video was powerful. You know what I'm saying? It was a very, very powerful video. You know, RP to Michelle Thomas in the video, and you know, they were talking about sexual assault and all of that. So that was powerful with the song and all that. And this just them boys came with some fire. Like again, going back to you don't know what single could have been. You know what I'm saying? Because this was the third single. You know what I'm saying?
They ain't had no talk about this being a single because it was a Daryl Simmons song. Like that, they brought him to give them a single. That's
right. You're right. You're absolutely right.
that song was gonna be a single regardless.
Regardless, right? Regardless, he had two of them. You know what I'm saying? Like he had two of them. So they was like, Daryl, we want a single. So give it to us.
And he had singles on their next album. So
and did. And did.
Plural.
Yes. So yeah, I just love this. I just think that Jazz sounded great on it. Jazz is just, he sang his butt off too. So yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
What was the chart on this? What was the chart on this, sis? Where did it peak?
Give me a second.
Okay.
It went to number. Make a promise.
Because I know all of these songs were probably top 10 on the pop for sure.
It went 7 Hot 100 #1 R&B.
Yeah, figured that. I figured that.
Honestly, there's no way it couldn't the way he's singing on that shit. Like it's captivating when you hear that record, let alone hear it on the radio.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I'm glad that they picked after Cisco in My Bed, that was the second single. They let Jazz get this. So again, they showing everybody shining in the group. You know what I'm saying? Because Tell Me was all about their harmonies together as a group. You know what I'm saying? And the hop, of course, all them hopping. But it was all about them as a collective. And then you got the second single, it's just about Cisco. Third single, it's all about Jazz. Like, you know what I'm saying?
But you know what? Let me tell you that cheat code that they did for this song, though, from a business standpoint. Mm-hmm. You know what the B side of this was, right?
No.
Take a guess. In My Bed, So Def remix.
Hell no, for real.
Right.
That's why the single sold so much. It was a bona fide hit on its own, but the CD single sold like gangbusters because it had the So Def remix.
Smart.
So it was very smart. Very smart.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because you needed
very
the
smart, very
up-tempo
strategic.
And you needed an up-tempo by now. You know what I mean? Because they gave you two. It's like, all right, we need something that jumps. And to put the So Def remix, that was smart. Come on, who was the A&R?
I don't know, but they did that.
Yeah, I think it was Hakeem Hicks, I think. It might have been. I think it was him. Because they was a part of... No, they didn't become a part of Def Soul until the second album. Okay. So this was just straight Def Jam, Island Def Jam. So, okay. So I think it was Hakeem Hicks. I think Hakeem Hicks or whatever his name was. I think that was it. But smart move. But Never Make a Promise is that shit. For real. Shout out to Jazz.
I'm in granting me your every wish is not. Oh, I love that song.
The bridge, baby. A bridge.
Mhm.
What you want it. Like it's just so it's so solid. Like, and that's why from front facing, I think of Jodeci. But when it come out of the harmonies and everything, that's that's giving me boys to men level precision singing. Like very
Mm-hmm.
precise singing.
Mm-hmm.
And just sounding so good together.
Yes.
It gives me the boys to men part.
Yes. I agree.
You could hear that chemistry and they're harmonizing. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Like, okay, it's Jazz's song and we're gonna back him up. Like that's when you just got a hell of a team for some backup singers where
You feel me?
you
Yes.
know what I'm saying? Where
Like,
it's like they not only can sing, but they're perfect for this record. They're in perfect harmony. And they don't drown me out. Like just works.
I think Dara was like, yeah, when he knew, all right, I'm gonna give this to you, Jazz, and y'all just come behind him and
Right.
just back him up. You know what I mean? Like, oof, oof. Yes.
So I'm looking at the album credits,
Uh-huh.
and the vocal arranging was Daryl Pearson and it was Cisco. So it's like
Mm.
if Cisco was arranging
Oh.
these songs where all of them were doing their thing, that shows how much he knows what they can do and that he trusts them. He,
Mm-hmm.
he didn't have that lead singer uh
Yeah,
blind,
I don't know.
blindness. Like
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
no, no Kill's gonna sound better on this. No, Jazz is gonna bring it home, and then because I'm gonna still come at the end and crescendo, be the crescendo because I'm crazy and dramatic. So,
Right.
you know, it's not taken away from his star to let his boys like really carry, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you know what? Not to keep bringing it up, but when you think about what they were doing with the fudgery, right? Like that's something you really got to plan out. You know what I'm saying? And I'm pretty sure, going into the day, they would probably set up exactly what they would do. Because it wasn't like I don't remember what they were singing. I don't even. They could have been singing about the chocolate for all I know. But it just sounds so good, and they sound so good together.
Right.
And I think some of that chemistry, you hear here, especially if, like you said, if Cisco's doing some arranging of vocals, they
Mm-hmm.
know each other. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
plausible.
And then speaking of credits, yeah, I'm glad you said it because now since because I have a Daryl Simmons playlist on, on my Spotify now, like the songs that he did. And every time I think I'll be like, yes, like I always go to Why I Love You So Much because the production gives you that. You know what I'm saying? It gives you Breathe Again. It gives you My. Like it gives, a Daryl Simmons record. And I was like, when I heard the bass on this, I was like, this one, nobody but Ronnie Garrett on the bass of this because he played the bass on Monica's Why I Love You So Much. So when I heard the bass on this, I was like, yo, that sounds like Ronnie, what he did on Why I Love You So Much. And then when I looked at the credits, I was like, yep, it's him. So again, Daryl has his own sound. You know what I'm saying? So it was just like, thank you for bringing up the line of those two. But yeah, I was just like, that bass is kicking ass on this. And it was just like, perfect song again. Like I don't know what else to say. Like it's another perfect record. So and
Oh, it's definitely yeah, it is such a perfect record. Like
yeah.
it's another one. I have no notes. There's nothing. I'm like, I wonder what it would have sounded like if they did this. Don't
Mm-hmm.
care. Like it's
Right.
just,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Then we come to So Special.
My favorite song on the album. Period. Boom.
Mhm.
Yeah. That this song they showed up is doing Jodeci cosplay.
No. Yes.
Right.
Like just come in
Yeah.
before they sing one note. Like what how does Jodeci song get in my playlist? Like I'm about to start singing whatever you want. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it sounds like. But go ahead.
Uh,
Love the
I
song though, but go off.
I love this song. I just love this song, period, because it's so simple. But again, the guys are the focus, their voices, yo. Like this is when Cisco and Jazz kind of go at it. It gives me kind of like Walter and Eddie from the OJs to me. And I was just like, the bridge, and then I was like, there are harmonies on the bridge, and then I'm like, Cisco and Jazz going back and forth, and then you got Woody that comes in after the bridge, and it was just like when I first heard this song, I played it over and over and over, and I just love this record on how just so simple, but the guys are singing for blood. Like to me, like they are going off every last one of them. You know what I'm saying? And when the tempo, I know sis love a key change because they got a key change that's so special, and it goes higher and higher and higher. And Cisco go like, oh, y'all want to go higher in keys? I'm gonna go higher with my voice too. Like, okay, that's why he was like, oh, yeah. Like he just holds it. And I was like, God damn. Like, God damn, Cisco, like, nah, you ain't gonna get me on this. I'm gonna go off. And they do, yo. And it's my favorite, man. It was just like if you ask me my favorite Dru Hill record, it's so special. I just love it. And it just has a nostalgia to me, bringing me back to when I was introduced to this album and just sitting there with my headphones, just listening, like, damn, they singing like shit. My damn headphones is hot because they going in like this. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it just brings me back in nostalgia. And it's just, I love everything about it. And a bridge, y'all new writers, can y'all please write some bridges? Well, the FE crew, thank y'all. So, Fonte, all y'all, Side, all y'all doing bridges. But these kids these days don't know what a damn bridge is. Listen to these songs, yo. Y'all will know what a bridge is. And that's when a singer really shows their ass that you
Right.
can show me that you can sing. And that's when Cisco and Jazz show you that they asses can sing on a bridge. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Yeah, I had to go off. Sorry.
Yeah, I was like, is John gonna take a breath? I need you to breathe,
Yeah,
bro.
I'm
Breathe,
sorry.
breathe,
I'm
breathe.
sorry. Yeah,
He
I had to go
knows.
off. Yes.
Yeah. How you feel about the song Vegas? Is it one of
I,
yours?
I, yeah, I like this song. I, I, I think again, by this time, you start to think about the group and uh how you feel about 'em, especially being new. And what I like about this song so much is, to JR's point, it reminds me of like the first time I heard Wu-Tang, right? It's like 9 members. You thinking, okay, it's gonna be all 9 members rapping on every song, taking turns. But it was a dynamic. Sometimes you got Ray with Old Dirty, sometimes you got Jizza with Inspector Deck, sometimes you got 4 of them, sometimes you got all of them. So it was the dynamic that I was like, oh, this is what we doing on this record. So, we had the group song, and then you get a solo and you get a solo. Now we get a battle. And again, it just goes back to their vocal range and the power behind their singing and the flawlessness in which they do it. And it's just like, by this time, I'm just looking like, man, I'm ready to run this whole album back, and I'm not even done yet. Um, but yeah, man, I like this song for a lot of the same reasons you said, man. I love soul singing, and this was some cats who were young that could just, like, I don't know, I can't even find the words, but at the end of the day, I just like when people aren't shy about their shit. Like,
Mm-hmm.
we if y'all don't mind, we about to go in on this record real quick, and I really love that about the song, especially the placement of it, because I like albums when you start to think and talk to yourself. Like you said, your headphones is popping, and we're hearing the different songs. And in a lot of ways, I'm not even that focused on the lyrics because the performance is so captivating. So
Right.
again, it was another record, and I had heard In My Bed, and I'm like, damn, man, that's up next. Like this it's the gift that keeps on giving out there.
You just said a thing. You just said a thing. when you don't focus on the lyrics, but when you go back and you play it a million times, and then you be like, it was some writing going on. Like the writing on all of these
Right.
songs, but we're so amazed by the performance because the performance is that great that we haven't even dipped our toe into talking about the lyrics on this album.
Right.
Like, come the fuck on, that shit's crazy. Yeah, that shit like they, especially the next, especially a few more that we about to talk about. Like
Mm-hmm.
the
Yeah.
end game is bananas, but okay, get excited. I mean, I bet excited, but I'm real excited now.
Right.
Yes. So in my bed, go.
Daryl Simmons again. Daryl Simmons again. And to know that Cisco didn't even like the song.
Wow.
He said
He
it on
sure
his
didn't.
Unsung. He was like, he did not like the song at all.
Mm.
He didn't like it. And he was like, because when he heard it, he was like, yo, I'm talking about somebody sleeping in my bed. Like, what kind of corny shit is this? So he said, way he sung it, he took out his frustration of not wanting to do the song into the song. And Daryl was like, exactly what I needed. Thanks. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was like, thank you. And to find out this after doing some research, I found out that he did a radio show with Ricky Smiley, and he said 112 actually is a version 112. It's a version that Usher sung it. He was like, so it went around for a while. And I guess people was just like, they wasn't feeling it. But he said, I guess Daryl got to me. And I guess he was like, he liked it and was like, this is it. This is yours. And obviously it's going to be a single. You know what I'm saying? But he was like, yeah, he was not a fan of it at all.
Yeah, and I think what surprised me about this song that a song like that did so big. Like before the remix came and gave the upbeat part of it, but I'm glad that radio and stuff accepted it because I could see them being like, yeah, passing it along, and I could see that. That's that song has to be sung in a very, very particular way, which Dru Hill did, that made it great. Those other people recorded it and it probably just ain't hit because they weren't that type of group for that type of song.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I definitely wouldn't want to hear. I'm glad Usher passed on that. I don't want to hear no solo version of that.
No.
Nope.
No. Mm-mm.
All the different harmonic things that they're doing throughout those thick ass, all the stacking in the world ain't gonna give you that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It just ain't.
Yeah, to your point about the lyrics, I think this, when I heard it as a single, I think this caught my attention because of the type of song it was. You know what I'm saying? And how Cisco was singing, like you felt it. Like to your point, I don't think if Usher sung that, I would have felt it in the same way. Like
Yeah.
he was like, "Yo, somebody's in my bed." Like you kind of, it's not D'Angelo shit damn motherfucker style, but it's enough emotion to make you feel like, damn, this he kind of going through it. And it was a radio single. That was the thing that was killing me because I was just like, what's this song about again? Like what they talking about? But again,
Mhm.
it's his vocal performance with those words, with the group backing him up. It was just, again, we said it earlier. When you have a group that's giving you some Jodeci and giving you some Boys to Men all in one, it just it worked well with these songs. It worked well with the music. Um, but yeah, when I heard that joint, and then the remix, I was at Morgan at the time. So as soon as we heard that you want to dance, that was it.
You're
Like
right.
that was it.
That's the
So
that's the beginning. Yo, that's the
right,
beginning of my clubbing days. Like, is
right.
when that came out. Because by the time that came out, like it didn't go away. So by the time I got to college,
It
that
was
was
strong.
still
Yeah.
heavy rotation on the radio and the clubs, all that. So
Right.
yeah, uh yeah. But go back to the original. Um, Yeah, you knew Cisco's was coming for blood and he was gonna be able to interpret this song from the first word. Just the way he said got this, just the way he said
Right.
got, the way he said one
Yeah,
word
yeah,
set the tone for the mood you needed for that song.
yeah.
Got this. Like,
You say he mad, like he angry, like that's why Daryl on his unsung. Daryl was like, "Just what I needed. Thank you for not liking it, because I needed that emotion." You know what I'm saying? Like, thank you. And now Cisco like shit. And now, if you look at the comments now, everybody was like, "Well, damn, Daryl, give him a song that he don't like, so
Yeah,
he can
right.
sing like this." Oh, man. Yes, in my bed. And that was their first, I think, number one single, I think, as far as R&B anyway. Because I think it like
no.
peaked at 4.
Oh wow.
Oh, it
Oh
was
yeah,
Tell
yeah.
Me. Was Tell Me number one
Yeah.
on our charts?
It no 5.
Okay. So In My Bed was the first. Okay. Then
Yeah,
Never
it was
Made a
8.
Promise.
Yeah, it was 8. Tell Me was 18 on Hot 100, 5 R&B.
Mm.
Okay, so it was In My Bed that gave me first number one. Okay. So that had to kind of be like kind of what Weak was for Coco, because she couldn't stand Weak at all. But it was a big record, so it was like a success. And like Cisco said, he was like, "Shit, it gave us our number one record." So hey, I might not like it, but here we go. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We did Cisco clearly. we went out and got the joint for real. So yes, great song. Again, y'all gonna hear that a lot.
All right. Next, we come to our nice little cover song for the album. You know, because you got to have a cover song in the 90s. Well, this period, you got to have a cover song. And that's in Love's Train. Good old
Hit
song,
me up, then.
you know, the great Confunction cover. But go ahead.
Yes. The only thing I did not like about this song, and y'all already know what it is going to be, I did
What?
not need Uncle Keith in it. I'm sorry. No, and no. I was like, I did not need it. Even though you produced the record, I get it. I understand. I get it. But I just did not need it. Yeah, like he sounded so ugh.
It wasn't. It wasn't needed, but I didn't mind it.
And I know my
But it
family, when
wasn't.
they see this, they're gonna hate it. Because they
No,
love Keith. But
it wasn't needed, but I didn't mind it.
Yeah,
I
me too.
guess.
I just got such a soft space for Keith.
for Keith
Like
Sweat.
it,
Yeah.
Oh,
people don't get far with me when they for people that come for him. Like it's. I was like, we can't be friends.
right.
Wow. Mm. Well,
But yes, but I like it. I like the little arrangement, different things they did in the background. I thought that was really dope. I definitely prefer this cover to the Silk Sonic thing we got. It was just like a bad karaoke of it. This they tried to do something else with it.
mm-hmm. I
Yeah,
agree.
I'm usually not big on covers, especially songs I love. So when it started, I was like, "What y'all about to do?"
You're right.
We was doing
Right.
fine for a minute. What y'all about to do? But then when I heard it, I was like, and then again, having experienced their voices and the power of their voices, I felt like they're probably gonna do this justice, which I thought they did. I thought it was cool. It wasn't offensive or anything. So yeah, I liked it. And then it's a Confunction song I love, so it wasn't a
Mhm.
skip for me.
Come on, baby. Come on,
Hit,
baby.
hit me off, hit me off, hit me off. And I like all of actually Dru Hill's covers, to be honest with you. Like, I love when they did The Love Stays on My Mind on the second album.
Oh
That's the
yeah.
best cover they did.
I
That's the
love that
best.
cover. Oh, they ate.
That of the songs they covered, that's their best cover.
Okay. I do
To
like
me.
how they did Beautiful Ones with Mariah. I do like their Beautiful
Mm.
Ones because I mean, I thought that was good. And then I like how they did Millions on the Winans on the Drew World Order album. They did that. Like, they don't have any bad covers to me, like, at all. You know what I mean? And they know which one to pick. You know what I'm saying? And it can still be Dru Hill, but you still it's familiar. You know what I'm saying? So I
Right.
think they killed Love Strain. I just love it. Oh my God. And the production from Keith and all of that, I think it was great. Like I just said, I just didn't need that. Yeah, I'm good on that. Well, yeah.
All right. So then we slide on into Share My World.
Thank you, Keith, for not getting on this. I appreciate it. I thank you. He produced this record. He didn't get on this one. But Share My World sounds so much like a Keith record. It sounds like Nobody to me. It sounds just like Nobody. You know what I mean? And what's his Alan Grip that's playing the keys on it? It sounds he played the keys on Nobody. So it really sounds like that. So when I heard it, I was like, and mind you, we had Keith Sweat. My family already had it already. So I knew that like crazy. So when I heard Share My World, I was like, this sounds like Keith did it. And when I looked in the line notes, I said, oh, Keith did do it. Okay, got it. Like, okay, cool. You know what I mean? So, and they gave you similar to Nobody, but playing that hell, ugh, they singing the hell out of this. Like, them boys is just, like Elise said, what did you say? It says in the text when you sent me, you was like, I love these boys. They just sing. You was like, I love these boys. They just sing, and
I
they did,
do.
and they did on this record. So another favorite of mine.
It's not a favorite, but I do like it. My favorite though.
Yeah, this whole side B to me, like like Vegas said, from 7 to the end, I'm good. I'm good
Right.
with.
So this came out in, CD times. Where would you consider to be the part A of it, and what you consider to be the part B? Side B.
Okay, so I would say because this album got 14 songs, I would say stop. Side A stops with Satisfied. Oh no. It would start with April Showers. And then you will go right into All Alone for side B, and then it will go all the way to the end. That's what I think. So side B would start All Alone.
If I had to pick it, I would have said what you said the first time. That
Oh, you would start with April Showers.
B would start with April Showers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Just so I don't
tape flip.
have to group Satisfied with all the songs I like.
That's fine. Okay, I got it. Like, leave that on the A side. Leave that over there. Then we can start with, we can flip the cassette over and we ain't got to worry about it no more.
You can cleanse yourself. Just
Right.
Yes, and the late minute talker.
right.
April Showers, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
April Showers get us clean, and we go out in a blaze of glory.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so after Share My World, we get to the song that is my favorite song. My favorite Dru Hill song, period.
Mm.
I will fight over this song. It's so beautiful. Now they could have kept the video. They could have kept that in the vault.
Yeah.
That song.
Yeah, the video.
But it was that time of that melodramatic, weird videos that didn't match the songs. It was that time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The 5 steps to eternity. We were 4 steps past love, and 3 wishes.
To me, this is how you end the album.
Listen.
Yes.
this is the gospel, how every artist would have their gospel song at the
Right.
end. And this
Right.
was it. Like, you
Right.
know, the album is coming to a close, especially how it starts. It's like, okay, now we're taking it to church. Okay, now we know where we're going. All right, we know we're at the end of the album.
Yeah, like it yeah, it was that big kind of gospel-y ending, but it wasn't when other people did it, it felt pandering, it felt disingenuous to me. This fit right in with the rest of the album. It wasn't an outlier. It felt like part of everything else that was going on. And with other ones, if it doesn't fit, it's not cohesive in a lot of other when other people did it during this time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It
And they
didn't.
let
It didn't.
Wood.
It wasn't. It didn't. It felt like it belonged, and it was a fucking single.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
yep. Because they had a video and all that. Yep, yep, yep. It's
So
just, and you know they used to sing this a cappella. This was their a cappella record. That you know when you ask them to sing on the spot, this is where they went. You know what I mean? And again, every last one of them are shining on this record. Woody starting it off. You got Jazz, you got Cisco. It's just a beautiful, beautiful song. And to end it there, it's just awesome. Awesome.
yeah,
You could also
yeah.
do Dru Hill hop to this. You just got to slow it down just a little bit so you can. Right. So, right.
It's like this song. I mean, I know all the lyrics, but what I know better than all the lyrics, I know every single Cisco ad lib on this song. Like I could, because he is like, and that's great. It's the last song on the album. Like, just get loose. Just go the fuck off. Like, yeah, you heard me control it and do it. No, I'm about to cut up. I'm about to really give you church for real, for real. My version
Mhm.
of church. And it's
Right.
just beautiful. 10 out of 10, no notes. Oh, fucking
Awesome.
song.
I'm the same thing. 10 out of 10. And this is how you end the album. Period.
Yeah.
Period. Mm-hmm.
And this is another like the writing on it is just nuts, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Amir Ruffin, James Green, Wendy Miller were the writers of that song.
Oh, okay. 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 Wendy Miller. Okay. I think that name actually
And then
sounds
the
familiar.
production was Stanley Brown and Nokia.
Wow.
Ah, so that's why they felt very comfortable on it. You know what I'm saying? Because Stanley gave them that sound that they enjoy, and then you got Nokia, their group member. You know what I'm saying? And I know Cisco probably arranged the backgrounds. He probably did.
Singing in the background.
Yeah, you know he a vocal arranged. So again, that's why they were so comfortable and they're singing down on this. You know what I mean? So perfect way to end the album with all of these great songs. Oh, Lord.
I'm trying to see what that did chart wise.
Okay.
Number 7 R&B. It was a number 7 R&B.
Not surprised.
It looks like they like that song in the UK. It did good on UK.
Mm.
That particular
That,
song.
that's why when Boys the Men won for like best group in '98, when they won at the AMAs, and I remember when when Sean or no, it was Nate. Nate got up there was like, we don't deserve this. He was like, we thank y'all, but he was like, Dru Hill been kicking ass. And he was like, he was like, we accept this on y'all behalf. You know what I'm saying? You got them as like boys the men saying, nah, these guys, all they singles been doing this, they should have won, not us, on an album like Evolution, and y'all, you think, nah. They was like, nah, Dru Hill been kicking ass. They should have won this, and they should have.
And then I'm looking, it's interesting. Okay, 5 Steps went number 16 UK, that was their song that did the best from the album in the UK. It did better than Tell Me. It did better than Never Make a Promise. It did better than Sleeping in My Bed. That was bad. I don't know why it caught there, but that song caught there over there.
Wow. Wow.
But see over there, they love soul, and that's always
That part. That part. That's exactly what it is. They like some singing over there. So, and they're singing on this record. Like, yeah, yeah.
Oh, all right. So, oh, anything else that we want to add about this record, Vegas?
Nah, just everything y'all said about this record is a hell of a way to end the album. Um, Again, it's another example of their range with the singing and how powerful they were, especially on to have a debut like this. You know what I'm saying, from a group in the '90s. We don't really see many groups now, if any. Now that I think about it, uh, let alone singing like that. And I think with that record in particular, it kind of had that neutral vibe to it where it could play on urban, could play on top 40 or whatever, because it's not just the singing, but also it's the lyrics. The lyrics are pretty straightforward. Everybody can relate, everybody can understand it. It's more uh I guess it's more for the human than it is for the person who had somebody sleeping in their bed and this person over here, like all the records that relate for different reasons. This was more of a neutral record that displays the vocal skills. And yeah, man, I remember when I heard this joint shit as a single too, I was just like, this album is just one of those albums. It's not going away like anytime soon. They're not going away. And how are they going to top this? That's really how I was thinking. Like, how do you top this? Like you said, you hit track 7, nothing's skippable at that point. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and it's
Mm-hmm.
all range, it's all variety, it's everything. So yeah, I was satisfied with my purchase. That's for damn sure.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
More bang for the buck.
Right.
Yes. Right. Right.
Yeah,
And
that's definitely an album back then. I definitely did not regret buying
Right.
that CD at all. At all.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And I'm glad that they actually came out right before y'all know what ended up happening, where these other groups, these boy bands, started using the blueprints to what we had. You know what I'm saying? And they started getting to that mainstream audience. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And it was just like, it was like, I think that, Dru Hill and I feel like 112 and all of them could have sold more. But again, we had other white groups that was using the blueprint of what Boys and Men had and using our flavor and selling it to a whole mainstream audience. So it kind of limited what Dru Hill and where 112 can go. You know what I mean? So it was kind of like, if they didn't have that, I think they could have took over for what Boys and Men was doing. To be honest, they really could have, because again, like we said, they was giving us Boys and Men, but they was also giving us Jodeci. But it was a new flavor. They was coming into the new time where things were more edgy. So they could have took over from Boys and Men and really could have sold, but we know what happened. You know what I mean? And it kind of limit them. Because this album could have sold, 2 million back then ain't bad either. You know what I'm saying? But it could have did 4 and 5. If all the singles did that well, the album couldn't do well. You know what I'm saying? I mean, even though it did, but it could have sold more, but it was limited, unfortunately. So, yeah. But
Yeah.
great album, though. One of my favorites. I love this album. Takes me back, coming back home. I just remember listening to it all the time. I didn't think it was going to be an album that I will always listen to. But like y'all said afterwards, after April Showers, it was like, whoa, shit. Okay, my bootleg was worth it. And then I went and got the CD for $17.99. So I ended up buying $3 for it, but then I went and my allowance that my mom and them used to give me, I was like, all right, mom, you can go to Sam Goody and buy this album for me with my own money. So yes, so I did ended up getting a real CD, y'all.
Yes. So we have entered my favorite part of the show, which is our word song association. So I am just gonna give you some songs from 1996 and 7, since it was one of those, spanning 2 different year type albums because it came
Right.
out so late.
Right.
And you will tell me the first word, song, emotion, memory, anything. Just the first thing pops in your head when I say that song. Get back to where I was. All right. So we will start off with, well, since JR mentioned this song, because one of the producers on this album is Keith Sweat. Keith Sweat, Twisted.
Oh man, forgot about.
Get me feeling. We'll skip that. Keith Sweat, Nobody. I know you know that. That was the same year.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy about those Keith Sweat records? I'm gonna date myself, y'all, a little bit. But I used to work in the electronic section of Caldor, which is basically Target with the name changed. Is everything's red, but and some of those records used to play all the time, especially Keith Sweat's Nobody. So like even though I didn't have like those records, it was like ingrained in me because that's all I heard, and then you hear it on the radio. But yeah, no disrespect, Keith. Look, I at least I want to be your friend, but I'm gonna say
No,
something.
it's fine.
I'm gonna say
Whatever your
something.
recollection, that's your memory. It's of
Yeah,
that shit getting on your fucking nerves playing at Caldor.
yeah, it was that,
That's the
and
game.
kind of like because don't get it twisted. Make It Last is my joint, the whole album.
Don't get it
Yeah.
twisted.
It's like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
Why is Keith still here? That's what I was thinking. Why are you still here, Playboy? Like, why am I here? Why are you still begging in the late '90s? Uh, but I again, sometimes those records, because of radio, like you said earlier, where they can make you get tired of a record.
Mhm.
I'd be lying if I said when I heard it today I didn't sing it. You know what I'm saying? Because I like it. You know what I'm saying? But back then I was like, oh my God, like, yo, why? So yeah, it's probably Caldor and me being in, at the register hearing it over and over and over again on my shift. So
Yes. So another big song from 96 and 97. Oh, I'm doing all male artists, by the way.
okay.
Genuine. Tony. What do
Damn,
you
you
think?
just gonna have me talking all negative today.
It's okay.
No,
Because I'm
no,
talking
no,
about
no.
the big songs. So that
Right,
happens with big
right.
songs.
No, but it's true because I was listening to a lot of radio and be more around that time. When I first heard Pony, I ain't gonna front. I thought it was a woman at first. Now I wasn't listening deeply, but I didn't know who this was. I was like, who is this again? Um, and man, they played it to death on the radio out there. My God, like you could kind of hop to that record too when I think about it. Like maybe you can hop to all that shit around that time.
Mhm.
But yeah, with
I
that,
mean, it was the same producers running around, so very possible.
right,
That
right,
part.
It was like the same
right.
5 producers, so in the 90s. So
Yeah, I think honestly between that, Keith Sweat and Dru Hill, I was doing I guess this is when we started to party in DC. So I think a lot of my association with these records are being in a car and hearing it on the radio. Uh, but yeah, that was a time.
Mhm. All right. How about some Maxwell Ascension?
Yes.
Don't ever wonder.
Now you talking. Now
I
we
gave him one that I knew he couldn't say nothing bad because I've never in my life heard anybody say a bad thing about this song. White, black, young, old, whatever.
Right,
So
right. Yeah, so yo, in 96, I think that was 96.
mhm.
Morgan had a concert on campus, uh, probably during the second semester or whatever. So it might have been early 96 or whatever. And it was the Fugees who had the score out.
Mhm.
George Clinton was there, Groove Theory was there, and um and Maxwell. But Maxwell really only had the video to, I think, Till the Cops Come Knocking was out. So he was relatively
Mhm.
unknown. And I remember there were a lot of people who weren't back yet. And so we went to the show because it was primarily empty. And I know you hear those names now, and that wouldn't be the case. Um, but I just remember watching his set, and he from Brooklyn, shout out BK. But I
Come
remember
on.
watching his set, and I was like, damn, like this shit sound good. Like his singing, the music, like everything. And I just remember when the first time I heard Ascension, I was just like, I don't know. I guess I got them because, again, me being a big hip hop fan, I love when somebody new from R&B or soul or whatever drops, and you just already know, like, there's no way this album is going to be trash because this record is too good. Like, it may not be 10 more of those, but between that
Mhm.
Till the Cops Come Knocking, Ascension was kind of like confirmation that I was a fan of Maxwell early. So for me, that's the probably the biggest association, but even bigger than that is before he won the Grammy. I'm dating myself again. In Brooklyn, Sam Goody. I remember they had the CD for $7. And I was like, what? It was almost like stealing. I was like, what? Like, I'm buying this joint. When he won the Grammy and I went back to Sam Goody, it was like $18. But that's just what it was back then. You know, there was no real anticipation for him leading up to the album. It's just once word spread about him, and Ascension is like, I can hear it now. When you hit play on that album, it's just like it's a feel good situation. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yes. All right. We had Usher. You make me wanna.
I could just, I was at Morgan, so there's only certain shit I can say. Certain shit I can say around that time, you know, because you taking it back to my swinger days, you know? Like, you make me want to. Oh yeah. Oh shit. Hold up. What? Like, Usher was a really good young man. That's with him.
Killer
But
Society.
right,
Right.
right. But
Mm.
you know what? I think when I heard that record, I was just like, wow, he's arrived as an artist.
Yep.
You know, like there's the cute kid stuff where you like, oh yeah, I like that record. I like that, other record he had is, little cute kid shit, got a crush on somebody cool. But when I heard Make Me One, I was like, oh, he's singing for me now. He's singing for my age group and what we going through and our vibe or whatever. And back when people danced in clubs, you know, that was one,
What? What
yeah,
did they
that was
used to do in clubs? What
right.
they do?
Dance with
Shit.
each other, the male and females.
Yeah.
You know? But that was one of them. That was one of them records. You know what I'm saying? That
Mm-hmm.
joint come on, and you like, oh, okay, this is what we doing.
Mm,
But yeah, a lot of memories with that record for sure.
yeah. It's, I'll go end it with a song from the same group that we just talked about, but it
Mm.
wasn't on the album. Dru Hill. We're not making love no more. We're not even trying to change.
Tell me why the sense away.
That is one of those records where I know I can't sing, but so what? I'm going to sing this one.
They did a big one with that one. They did a big one.
Right.
Yep.
They did that.
Yes. And who's on it again? Who produced it? Daryl. Who wrote it? Babyface. Like, Daryl was their hit maker. Like, for real. Like,
Yeah.
all the songs he did with them.
And the song gave the flavor of I mean, it was Never Make a Promise Part 2. For sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Which ain't bad because that's a fucking 10 out of 10 fucking song too.
Right. So
Give me
Babyface.
20 parts of it. I don't care. I want it.
So Babyface said, "Okay, Daryl, you want to give them 2 hits? I'm gonna give him another one because he gave them These Are the Times."
These are the times. I
Yeah.
want to talk about that album too.
That was that album. I love it, but it was
No,
the
it was just
beginning of
ups
it.
and downs, but it's just some songs on it that I need to talk about with my motherfucking people. That the
Right.
Yeah, like this the album. It got some misses, but it's still greater than the sum of its parts to me. It's
Yeah,
so much
yeah, for
good on
sure.
it that
Yeah.
ooh, I gotta skip a few. That's fine because like look
Mhm.
what I get once I skip. Yeah,
Yeah.
That part. True. True that. True that. True that.
that was it. But thank you Vegas for hanging out with us. You know we love talking to you. I was
Of
so happy when
course.
I saw you scheduled. I was excited. And then when I saw what you picked, I got double excited. So.
Yeah, she had to make me go to the email. She was like, "Go to the email right now." I'm
I'm
like,
an
"Okay."
asshole. Like I could just tell him very easily, but I no. I'm the I'm like the Cisco of this shit. I'd be dramatic.
She wanted me to go crazy because she knew this
Jesus
was one of
Christ.
the albums that I had on my list. So that's why she was like, "Go ahead and look at it. See what Vegas picked." I was like,
Yeah,
"Oh,
it's about the reveal. You know, you could go off at the beginning of the song, but I want to hear Cisco at the end going
Right.
crazy.
Right.
true, true that, true that."
Yeah, I kind of I kind of wanted to. I don't know, because like when you're looking through your music collection, there's your go-tos, there's joints you listen to all the time, there's joints that we
Yeah.
all listen to all the time, and you're kind of like, I have more music than that. And
Mhm.
Yeah,
honestly, like I got a best of Dru Hill, which is really like my go-to when I want to hear them. But then, one day I was listening to the album and then it just popped in my head. I was like, oh, maybe. But I'm telling you, I wasn't even going to send that DM because I was like, nah, they did that shit already. They had to. When you was like,
And
no, we haven't done this, I was like, word? Oh,
not even a song. We haven't even done a song from Dru Hill. Now we
no,
find a way to talk about Dru Hill and other stuff because we do love
yeah,
Dru Hill,
right.
but we have not at all.
Wow.
it was. I think we ended up talking about Dru Hill on all of like when Terrence Martin came on and talked about Jodeci. We talked about them. When
Right.
T talked about Boys the Men, we talked about them. When Chastity talked about Boys the Men,
Wow.
we talked about them. So anytime we talk about a male group album, we always seem to bring Dru Hill in. And nobody picked a Catch That Mini from them. None of that. Like it was like,
That's crazy.
ain't it though? I'm like, oh.
Well, we
But
got it now.
now we did. In
Right.
Vegas, you did that. You did that.
Yes, he did. Right, right. You
And
see
we
Vegas
picked
with
it.
his picks, yo. Think like he picked
He,
Alicia Myers. He done picked then he picked Neo. Like he throwing people off. Like for real, for real.
I'll be wanting to go in my 70s bag hard, but I'm like, nah, they did. Sometimes I look and I'm like, damn, somebody did that already.
Oh
So
shit. You
I'll,
can
I'll
still
keep
pick a
I'll
song off
keep
the
digging
album though. We'll still talk about it again.
through that. True.
we did talk about albums, and it's what album we talked about. I think we did 4 different songs. People came to talk about after we talked about the album.
Well,
Because in
okay.
these discussions, we can talk about the singers, but when we have a whole 30 minutes to an hour to just talk about a song, it
Yeah.
really gets to
Right.
the meat, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That's
Uh,
true. That's
uh,
true.
and I'm
Mm-hmm.
getting old. I repeat myself a lot anyway, so it's fine.
Hello. I'm like that, so don't be
Yes. So Vegas, if you would like folks to find you in these internet streets, how can they find you and anything else you would like to add?
All right. Well, you can find me on social media, whatever the platform, at Vegas World INC. I do a hip hop podcast, which is a hip hop news podcast, but I also do some writing and all that good stuff. So if you follow me on Instagram or whatever, all roads lead to the content. And thank y'all for having me as always.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Thank you for hanging out with our crazy selves. We appreciate it.
Right.
Apparently,
Dramatics and
apparently
all.
people still fucks with us, so thank you, y'all.
Right. Right. Right.
But yes, we thank all our viewers for supporting us, for always showing up for us. We really love it. We notice every share, every like, every comment. We notice all of it. We see all of it, and we're so grateful. So continue to keep sharing us with your folks. We love y'all, and yeah. You got anything else to say, Jr?
Mm-mm.
You sure?
I think I've done enough in this episode.
Never too much. But yes, we love y'all, and we will catch y'all on the next Catch That.
Peace.